In recent years, Hondurans have seen their economic prospects plummet, with their nation now ranked as the second poorest in the Western Hemisphere, behind only Haiti, and many of their most able-bodied workers making a long walk north.
And sometimes men just leave, and they go try to find work elsewhere. They either try to cross illegally to the U.S. or they go to another village, and then the woman is left without any means of support with 400 kids. So she's got to try to find another man who may or may not treat her well, who's going to try to support them.
Honduras has never been a wealthy nation, but many people here trace their most recent descent into destitution to just a few dark days in 1998. Hurricane Mitch has been called the worst natural disaster to hit Latin America in 500 years. Tens of thousands died in nations bordering the Caribbean. In Honduras, the storm wiped out entire villages, along with the economic infrastructure of an entire nation.
Life gets stressful when they can't find a way to do that, and there's 4 kids at home and nobody has any food, and sometimes men just leave.
The village of Montevideo is one such place.
This is, I guess, a fairly typical community. Seeing the new housing constructions is something that's really quite rare.
The streets and alleys of Montevideo are about the last place to look for a thriving business community, filled with merchants using borrowed money to fuel an economy based on credit. But that is exactly what is happening in this small store.
Basically, her idea was that she needed to eat, and she started with t-shirts and started selling used t-shirts.
We want to reach 5,000 by the end of this year. We want to reach, I think it's about 18,000 in the next couple years, and we want to, along with other microcredit organizations around the world, have world poverty by 2015.
Microcredit, or micro-lending, a concept now making its way around the world, the third world. For the people applying for loans, the term microcredit is an example of truth in advertising.
Our first loan size is between $28 and $50. Our average loan size is $88. And that is more money than this woman has probably ever had at once before.
In Honduras, the Adelante Foundation reserves most of its loans for women, but not for soft or sentimental reasons.
If we want to become, which we do, an economically sustainable, sound organization, it's a better business choice to loan to the people who are going to repay you back.
Her name is Doña Maria Urtilla. Her friends call her Nila, and her children call her their only hope.
These kids here look incredibly underfed and sick and poorly tended to, but they're doing the best they can.
Nila's children range in age from 17 to 2, and already some of them carry the color of hunger.
Anytime a child has a lighter color hair, kind of a reddish, blondish tint to it, it means that they've been malnourished, and that tint's going to stay with them the rest of their life.
Nila and her family all sleep in the same room, but as tough as things are, they're not nearly as bad as they were.
And then they wouldn't have any wooden beds or marks. What they would do is put some kind of weed and other stuff on the bottom, and then on top they would put this like carpets, straw carpets, and everybody would lie down in the same place. She says that now it's much, much bigger.
This is part of what changed Nila's life, the bicycle she bought with a micro loan to start her meat-selling business.
This is her 9th loan, and she says that from the income that she has had with the business, she has been able to build a better home.
Nila has qualified for loan after loan, despite being known when she started as the poorest woman in her village. But she didn't qualify by herself.
You must be a member of a group between 4 to 6 women, and you're jointly liable for the amount of the loan. So if one woman doesn't pay, your group members must repay for you, and then when you have money again, you can repay them.
You realize that if she pays, but she pays late and you don't make it to the bank, you will have a late fee.
One of the cardinal rules here is responsibility.
One thing that we do is we don't ever give anything away. And that's very important. And that our philosophical way of doing it is that our clients earn everything that they've got. Before the loan, I felt like I had few resources, and now that I have the loan, my life is getting better and I have more money and I feel good. Yeah.
Just 7-Up. Solamente.
The small enterprises being started fill a demand in villages that often had no store of any kind, forcing people to walk or hitch a ride to a larger city to buy the things they needed. Now, with those items being purchased in the village, money stays in the community.
It's marvelous, it's incredible to see the principles of free enterprise take hold in such a place.
With persistent poverty a fact of daily life here, it can be difficult to see a better future for Honduran children, especially when so many families are missing fathers. The men leave behind fractured families, where women are suddenly thrust into the role of sole breadwinner.
Women rarely abandon their children, and that leads to the final and perhaps most important reason that we target women, is that we're trying to make long-term change in Honduras. The way to do that is to get to kids. The way to get to kids is to get to their mothers. And the way to get to their mothers, to teach their mothers how to make money, is through microcredit.
In Honduras, childhood often ends early. To help feed their families, most rural kids leave school after the 4th grade. But for families in the small loan program, childhood gets a second chance.
The other thing that starts happening by around the 3rd loan cycle, kids that were not going to school now start going to school.
Under a spreading almond tree, women who have had so little for so long get a crash course in capitalism, from supply and demand to profit and loss.
¿Cuánto me vale la libra de maíz?
How much does a pound of corn cost?
Bueno, me vale 2.50 de lempiras la libra de maíz.
It costs me 2.5 lempiras for a pound of corn.
Tengo que trasladar a comprármelo.
But is that my only cost for the corn? No. I had to go and buy it. Maybe I had to pay transportation. And maybe I had to pay somebody to take care of my child while I did that.
They get loans, they have to pay back, they pay them back, they borrow more money, and they get the whole idea of what made America great, actually, very quickly. And it works. Everybody in this, that's involved in this, is better off.
We don't have enough money from our donors, our supporters, ourselves, our friends, USAID, to give all the money we could get to all the poor people in Honduras who need it to support them for the rest of their lives. But if we can mobilize money, if we can take money that is loaned to us and loan it to our clients, who then pay it back with interest, that money continues to revolve and continues to work.
Prosperity in Honduras has been elusive almost since it became a nation. Across turbulent times shaped by political and economic instability, Hondurans have often had little to cling to except their faith. Now they are taking small steps that may lead to better days, and many say that while they remain poor, they are not helpless, and through one small loan at a time, they may yet see their faith rewarded.
They're not incapable of changing their lives. If there's a way or a method to provide them with the opportunity for change, they will take it. They're desperate to take it.